Hello and welcome. Please, if you are watching this program, try not to call me, whether it is a direct call or internet call, because once you make that call, you interrupt the broadcast. So please do not call. You can call when we are finished making this broadcast. It's okay to call, but let it be after the broadcast. Thank you for adhering. Now, two things. One, we're going to ask God to intervene in this pandemic that we have in Nigeria. Talking about the coronavirus. I was just coming from the park. Somebody sent me a good which I needed to go and collect from the park. And believe me, the pictures I saw there is not encouraging at all. The park was filled with people, hundreds of people, those coming from Lagos, those coming from Katsina, those coming from states that we are told that have records of infected people, and those people that we have people that are going to other states. So the mix. Now we have, if it continues for the next couple of weeks, it means we are going to complete a full cycle of distribution, a redistribution of people, and that is not going to be good for us. And furthermore to this, we have a country that is governed by people without a solution to the dynamics of Nigerian political system. So it's a terrible and precarious system. So it's not good. The future is bleak, if you ask me. But we are just going to pray. I believe in God. I believe in prayers. I believe in the divine existence of a supernatural being that can, shift the defenseless. Now we talk say car will not get tail. Now God they drive and fly. So that's by the way. But the purpose of this video is this. There is something that I have not talked about for a very long time. Some of you know and some of you don't know. But in case you don't know, some time ago, I did a rally in the South under the auspices of the Eastern Unity Assembly. We all, within our capacity, contributed some money, and we were able to stage that show. Now, after that rally, I have not spoken about it. I have not said anything about it, and for a good reason. For those who watched that video, you say it was a waste of time. But that is because some of us, the South in particular, we don't understand the dynamics of politicking. We don't understand the dynamics of politics. But let me analyze that endeavor bit by bit. First and foremost, that was the first time we were introducing the concept of Eastern, the word East, in the much acclaimed South-South. Now, sometimes when I read a lot of comments and responses on my thread, I see a lot of people, particularly from my Igbo brothers, when they describe people from the South-South, they will say so-called South-South. Now, when you describe us as so-called, it is derogatory and demeaning and somehow reducing. Use the word much acclaimed. It's more intellectually appropriate to say much acclaimed South-South. Do not say so-called. It tingles our feeling and see what are you trying to tell me? But that's from an intellectual basis. So the much acclaimed South-South. That was the first time anybody was introducing the concept of East into that region. Now, in building up that rally, monies were contributed. We cooked food, we bought drinks, we got public address system. The venue was quite large. The seats were many, anticipating a crowd. But quite frankly, those who came were less than 60 or thereabout. Now, to a typical Southerner, he will say that was a failure. It wasn't. That was a very, very huge success by my standard, and I'm going to prove that. But before then, while doing that show, we had the hands of the evil one trying to frustrate it, both within and outside. Where we did that rally was the home base of the current Deputy Senate President, in case you don't know. And we believe that there were calls from somewhere, people who sent money countering the kind of money that we have. Of course, we don't have political, financial might to stop that rally. Now, people didn't come, but those who were there said if they knew that this was the perspective that we were trying to disseminate, that place would have been filled up. But they felt I was coming to talk about, sometimes talking to our people is the most difficult endeavor that one can ever imagine, what one can ever undertake. Talking to the people of the south-south or southeast, much acclaimed south-south and southeast, is the most difficult endeavor that anybody can engage. Because, like I said in one video in the past, there are two sets of Igbo people. The ones that are liberally minded are very few. The ones that are self-assuming, self-imposing are more. These are the ones that goes about on social media attacking everybody. And they don't know that when you attack, I don't mind you when you attack somebody from the corner. Really, I don't mind. I don't mind seeing an Igbo attacking someone from, I don't mind at all. You can attack as much as you want to attack, no problem. But when I see an Igbo man attacking an Urobo man, an Ijaw man, a Calabar man, Edo man, and this thing, see, my dear Igbo brothers, the fight cannot and will not and should not be a case of Igbo versus the world. You will fail. Please, if I offend you, do not try to be offended, because when I make these videos, it takes a lot of guts to be saying certain things that ordinarily you are afraid that it might spark off negative sentiments. The fight is not Igbo versus the world. The fight is the region. So I'm trying to make people think that this is about region. Anybody that is making this fight and he is ethnicizing that fight, you're going to fail. I know it. I don't need to be preached to. I know you're going to fail. But if for some reason we were able to build our subconsciousness, like me now, who is a typical Urobo man, very, very strong Urobo man. If anybody insults an Urobo man, I will die with you. But you see, I have fashioned myself to be able to reason outside my Urobo enclave and open my mind up to embrace the Igbo, to embrace the Edo, to embrace the Ijaw, to embrace every other ethnicity within the region. Because the region is so compact and a lot of people, Igbo, Ijaw, Shekiri, Edo, Calabar, Ibibio, we are all, there's a compact mix there. If each tribe or each ethnicity do not have the capacity to have an open mind that embraces other tribe, then there's a problem. Now, back to the rally. When I gave my younger brothers to go and paste the posters, because the posters read Eastern Unity Rally, my younger brother, 27 years old, asked me, why did I put the word Eastern Unity? Why not South-South Unity? Now, don't blame him. Really don't blame him. These are children born after the much touted 6 geopolitical regions were created. And who created it? It was Babangida, a member of the Caliphate. So when somebody is born into a system, he gets used to the system. Believe me, those posters, 70% of those posters though they collected money from me to go and paste those posters, 70% of those posters were not pasted. Because those pasting the posters felt it's strange that somebody is asking them to go and paste a poster that reads Eastern Unity, Eastern, whereas they are in South-South. But the reason for making this video was that I wish by now the rest of us had capitulated on that singular thing. Because when we went, there was no incidences of police coming to stop us. There was no incidences of phone call that we should stop. Everything went peaceful except for the crowd who were not properly informed. No, not that they were not properly informed. Who had a wrong misconception of what we are trying to sell. Now, they thought we are coming to talk about Biafra. They thought we are coming to talk about Igbos. They thought we are coming to talk about topics that before now had been a source of controversy in their head. So they thought those were the topics we are going to discuss, and they already made up their mind not to be there. But for those who were there, they saw that a new perspective towards reasons why there is a need for us to come together and unite was the topic for the day. And quite frankly, the few who were there, particularly the chief, the youth leader of the Robo people, the chief of Robo, the pastor of the church, they were disappointed that if they knew that this was the perspective that we're coming to sell, believe me, that place would have been filled up. But then again, what happened? I heard people coming on social media saying that they contributed money, it was a failure. It wasn't at all. It wasn't at all. It was a seed that was planted and we needed to water it. If by now we had watered it, by now I think it would have germinated, and all this idea of people trying to come together would have been achieved. Sometimes, coming to the final lap of this video, sometimes people come to my wall and they said the problem is the Riverine people. The problem is the so-called South-South. And I begin to wonder, the truth is this. Let me shock all of us. The truth is that I am talking to you right here. Have I told you that my younger sister is married to an Igbo man and has 5 children for the Igbo man? The truth is this. The Igbo man and their neighbor, they really don't have any problem. We don't. There's intermarriages. The Ijo man, there are Ijos that are married to Igbos. There are Igbos that are married to Ijo. There are Ishekiris that are married to Igbo. There are Ishekiris that are married to Igbos that are married to Ishekiri. There are Igbos that are married to Edo. There are Edos that are married to Ishekiri. So the truth is that deep down under the lining, there's really no confusion here. But it's when it comes to this political awareness that we ourselves tries to bring these differences to become an important stool upon which everybody wants to stand upon. It is when it comes to this political awareness that the Igbo man wants to claim relevance, the Yoruba man wants to claim relevance, the Ijo man wants to claim relevance, the Edo man wants to claim relevance. Everybody suddenly wants to climb on a higher stool that puts him that he is far more relevant than others. But in truth, we really don't have any problem. So how do we get ourselves to the point where we cash in on the fact that we really don't have any problem, and then build on or solidarizing ourselves to become a stronger unity? The problem is here. I have said it over and over. The problem is here. The way we think when it comes to political reasoning is what has continuously and will continuously be our bane. We must begin to refashion the way we think. Politics is about numbers. It's about numbers. This is one singularity of political purpose that the North has, that they have continuously used against us and make us, irrespective of our intellectual endowment, social endowment, wealth endowment, exposure endowment, and every other human advantage that we have, seem useless when it comes to them. Politics is a game of numbers, and let me tell you, numbers is not with the Igbos, numbers is not with the Robos, numbers is not with the Ijos, numbers is not with the Edos, numbers is not with any singular tribe in that region. But there is great, huge numbers when they come together. Because Evi Edna sang some time ago, he said in the south, 1 kilometer meets another language in Guduma. 1 kilometer meets another language. See, if you are in the south, much acclaimed south, and every single kilometer meets another language, not just communities, huge communities with a lot of people, and the people who live in the desert, that I know, for instance, I've said it over and over, from Bauchi to Maiduguri is about 450 something kilometers. Between Bauchi and Maiduguri, the major towns you meet is less than 450 kilometers. But from Warri to Asaba, it's less than 200 kilometers. But the major communities you see, they are up to 50. So how would you say in a place less than 200 kilometers with 50 communities in between the distances, and a place with 450 kilometers with less than 6 communities in between the distance, then you say that the person who is living in the north with less community is more populated than the person in the south with more with more communities. You can almost see the psychological depravity that we consciously put ourselves. Now, the only way we can get out of this, the only way we can begin to appreciate the strength that we have in the south above these northerners, is when we stop seeing that I'm an Urobo man. Urobos are this, Urobos are that, Urobos are this. I'm an Igbo man. Igbos are this, Igbos are that. Igbos. Look, anytime I read that, an Igbo man posting on this thing that Igbos are the most educated, Igbos are the most this, I get so annoyed. Or Urobos are this, Urobos are that, Urobos are that. I get so pissed off. Ijos are the senior brothers of Igbo. Ijos are this, Ijos are that. I get so pissed off. Because we, by that social mental enclave, we put ourselves in a position whereby we take our mind far away to appreciate our strength. Our mind continuously, because if you keep focusing our mind on how to prove to the Igbo that no, you are not bigger than us, or how to prove to the Edoman, no, you are not bigger than us, by doing so, we perpetuate a self-imposed consciousness to minimize our strength. Because the truth is that we have all the strength that there is to have against this northern caliphate, but we have consciously and continuously perpetuated the reason why we continue to decipher or break away that strength that we have against the north. And it's more on self-description. Rather than describe ourselves from a regional perspective, we choose to describe ourselves from an ethnic perspective. So if the Igbos describe themselves from an Igbo perspective, they are small. If the Urobos describe themselves from an Urobo perspective, they are small. If the Ijos describe themselves from Ijo perspective, they are small. The only way that we can describe ourselves and then we will look shoulder high with the northerners, if we begin to consciously evolve a description that has a regional perspective. That is when and only when we can begin to challenge where we are. Otherwise, we'll be here years after years. For those who are thinking Biafra will come today or tomorrow, you're fooling yourself. Because so far what I see is an ethnic-driven struggle. Take it or leave it. It's an ethnic-driven struggle. I say it without fear or favor. I'm yet to see the effect. I'm yet to feel any effect that has a regional perspective. The Southeast governors attempted to create a security outfit, but because they have an ethnic-driven perspective, it failed. The South-South governors attempted to create a security outfit, but because they have an ethnic-driven perspective, it failed. So for how long can we begin to drive policies or agenda with ethnic perspective that they fail, and we insist on repeating that same strategy and tactics? So what I'm just asking us is this: let us begin to reshape our perspective and imbibe a psychological mentality that has more of a regional drive and not an ethnic drive. Because what I see is We trying to prove to ourselves, not even to the nation, to ourselves, on how the Robos are the most, or how the Igbos are the most, or how the Ijaws are the most. We keep doing this and fanning the embers of disunity, not just this disunity alone, but strength, weakening our strength when it comes to tackling the caliphate. So the rally we did, finally, the rally we did in the South was a success. What we failed to do was to capitalize on the mustard seed we sowed in the South. If we had done that rally like 2 or 3 more of that, by now the issue of people coming together would have attained somewhere. But finally, again, I am not competing with anybody. Never will and never have. I'm not interested in any position. I'm not interested in popularity. Sometimes I'm just driven to share these thoughts. I wasn't planning on making this video today, but it just came to mind. I said, grab this phone, let me share it. Thank you for listening.